Okay, everybody, this is Coach Rich Wharton here with OnlineBikeCoach.com, and I just finished my ride. Today went a little sideways, so I ended up taking advantage of a beautiful day outdoors, and I rode my mountain bike. I rode my mountain bike up two or three of my favorite trails and down another two or three favorite trails. And I wanted to share that with you because I've got some VO2 data and I've got some SMO2 data. The area in orange is my heart rate. The area in gray over here is my, um, what is it? It's my saturated muscle oxygen, my SMO2, on my left lateralis, because this is the data coming off of the phone. And the blue area is my VO2 max. Now, we can ignore the second half. That was my descent. But what I wanted to show you was I took off and I immediately, as I was climbing, you can see my SMO2 dips below 20%. Now, 20% for me is kind of a magic floor. And it's a value that if I stay at between 20 and 25%, I know I'm climbing at sort of my max efficiency, so to speak. And as you can see, I stayed around 20 for several minutes as my VO2 rose. And if we line it up, you can sort of see that my heart rate's climbing as well. I get a little reprieve, and then it just stays below for several minutes, right around what turns out to be my VO2 max. Now, that does not necessarily correspond with the highest heart rates. If we zoom in, where is that? I think that's a 177, 178, right about there. And what you can see is my saturated muscle oxygen stays below 20% but begins to rise as my VO2 begins to descend. And what I attribute that to is this is a short, steep area where I've got to worry about my bike handling every bit as much as my fitness. And so when you see these little spikes right here, I think those are hairpin turns where I was almost not even breathing and then I was gasping to recover. Or it was a very steep area that I had to climb up and over with a lot of rocks, and I always keep my tire pressure down. But uniquely, take a look at this. You can see that my VO2 max is at its peak, and then it continues to descend. My heart rate, however, really doesn't, except for that little dip right there. And that little dip corresponds with a rise in SMO2. What's going on? It's another plateau, and I've got a chance to recover. Now, in theory, the coach in me says tap the gears and keep pushing. Out of sight, out of mind. But the reality is I didn't even know what to expect, so I subconsciously just took it easy. Now, once we got back into the intensity, ironically, VO2 max it declined. I think that has something to do with the calibration and the change in temperature for the device. If we look, this block area right here was where I did a recalibration. SMO2 went right back up into the stratosphere to show a reoxygenation. And then for the second set, where I climbed another good steep section, you can see that I did have some time where I was back in the mid to high 50s, and my heart rate was once again in the mid to high 170s. Furthermore, SMO2 stayed above that sort of magic 20% value all the way till I got to the top, and then I turned around and I began to descend, and you can see a drop in VO2 max, a rise in SMO2, and a drop in heart rate. Now, the only reason I had a little climb is there's an itty-bitty little up and over right there, and that's about it. So anyway, I thought that was kind of fascinating. It turned out to be a really, really good day on the bike, which just goes to show you that maybe if you just wait a little while, you'll get a little more out of it. Here's my performance condition value. It peaked at plus 11. Again, don't have a clue about what that thing means, but it ended at a plus 6, and honestly, that's the way that I felt. I'm going to post this up. I'm going to go make dinner for my wife and feed my dog, and I hope you guys enjoy the ride. Thank you.